Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. Police charge a motorist for attempting to murder a traffic police officer. TIZ condemns political interference in the recruitment of teachers. DP and PF justify failure to contest ward elections slated for 30th June. And in international news, Belgium's King Philippe reaffirms regrets over colonial past. And in sports, Green Eagle Judo optimistic to win the local league. Join me with the detail after this commercial.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
Power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you are in power. So to attribute the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. On
TSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And other main news in detail. Lusaka Magistrate Stanford Ngobola has ruled that an application by Patriotic Front Acting President Given Lubinda to have his case be referred to the High Court to determine the constitutionality of Article 7(1) of the Constitution, which required an accused person to be in a position to account for what the state suspected to be proceeds of crime, is frivolous and lacks merit. In his ruling, the court states that the application cannot stand as Section 7(1) is specific in explaining matters of the Constitution. This is in a matter where Lubinda is accused of allegedly obtaining $230,000 United States from a Chinese company and used part of the money to acquire land in Kingsland City.
His attempt to have his case be referred to the Lusaka High Court for determination of the constitutionality of Section 71 of the Anti-Corruption Commission Act has been dismissed by the Lusaka's Magistrate Court under the Specialized Economic and Financial Crimes Court, with the presiding magistrate Stanford Ngobola citing the application to be frivolous and lacking merit. At the last court sitting, Patriotic Front Acting President Given Lubinda applied through his defense counsel Makebi Zulu to have his case be referred to the High Court to determine the constitutionality of Article 71 of the Constitution, which required an accused person to be in a position to account for what the state suspect to be proceeds of crime, which was unconstitutional. This is in a matter in which Mr. Lubinda is accused of illegally obtaining $230,000 million United States from a Chinese company and using part of the money to acquire a land in Kingsland City. The state accuses him of 4 counts of being in possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime, which are contrary to Section 71(1) of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act number 19 of 2010. However, after the court dismissed the application, the defense lawyers applied for an adjournment on ground that they needed to get instruction from the accused person before he could proceed to take his plea. The court reluctantly allowed the adjournment, but directed that the accused appears before court on Monday, the 13th of June 2022. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Former Konkola Copper Mines KCM provisional liquidator Milungu has argued before the Constitutional Court that the application by the state to ask the court to reverse its decision of staying his criminal proceedings before the subordinate court is incompetent. This is in a case in which Mr. Milingo Lungu has sued the government, Drug Enforcement Commission and another, seeking an order that his purported arrest is an abuse of criminal proceedings.
Former Konkola Copper Mines Provisional Liquidator Milingo Lungu has maintained his argument before the Constitutional Court that he was allegedly granted immunity, hence his purported arrest by the law enforcement agency is an abuse of criminal proceedings, according to his reply to the state submission to reverse the decision by the Constitutional Court to stay his criminal proceedings. Mr. Lungu submits that the application is incompetent. Recently, the Attorney General challenged the decision by the Constitutional Court Judge Martin Museluke to stay criminal proceedings before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court involving Mr. Lungu. In a case, he is accused of possessing property suspected of being proceeds of crime. In a notice of motion to reverse the said ruling, government argued that the single judge erred in law and misdirected himself when he stayed the criminal proceedings against Mr. Lungu before the subordinate court. However, in his latest submission before court, the former KCM liquidator argues that if government was dissatisfied with the ruling by the single judge, it should have appealed. He submits that the principle relating to the use of civil proceedings to stay criminal proceedings is unapplicable to the circumstance of the case, on ground that the proceedings before court are constitutional in nature and the court has the power to grant the stay of proceedings as an interim relief pending determination of his petition. In this case, Mr. Lungu, who is also a lawyer, wants the court to declare that the Director of Public Prosecutions, having granted him immunity against prosecution in matters relating to his performance as KCM Provisional Liquidator, his purported arrest and commencement of criminal proceedings are an abuse. In a petition filed before court, Mr. Lungu wants the court to grant him an order of prohibition directed at the Attorney General, Boyd Munalula, a senior investigative officer under the Anti-Money Laundering Unit of the Drug Enforcement Commission, and Administrator General, restraining them from investigating, arresting and prosecuting him in respect of his performance as Provisional Liquidator of KCM. He also wants the court to quash the Drug Enforcement Commission's decision to charge and arrest him on April 7, 2022 for possession of property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zambia Police Deputy Spokesperson Danny Mwale has warned motorists in the habit of abrogating road traffic regulations and harassing road traffic officers full wrath of the law. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Mwale says the Zambia police has formally charged and arrested a man identified as Mr. Smart Period 29 for attempted murder of a traffic police officer after he drove dangerously, almost killing the police officer despite being stopped for abrogating traffic regulations. The said incident happened on the 7th of June around 14 hours on Lumumba curfew traffic lights, in which the traffic officer, while regulating traffic, was almost run over by a Hino Ranger which was being driven by the said man.
A video has gone viral on social media where a police officer is seen hanging from the wipers of a Hino truck in an attempt to save his life, as the truck is seen moving without making a stop. Zambia Police Deputy Spokesperson Mr. Danny Mwale has explained that the said incident happened on 7th June 2022 around 14 hours along Lumumba curfew traffic lights, as the traffic officer, while regulating traffic, was almost run over by the truck, which did not stop despite being given a signal. Mr. Mwale says the truck, which was being driven by a 29-year-old man identified as Smart Period of Kamala South, did not stop, forcing the police officer to hang onto the wipers for fear of being run over. He explains that in an attempt to save his life, the traffic officer jumped off the truck to the side, sustaining minor injuries.
He was rushed to Chawama Level 1 Hospital, where he was attended to and later discharged. Smart Period did not stop the vehicle. Other motorists who were around the place managed to give a chase and impounded the vehicle.
Mr. Mwale has since cautioned motorists against disobeying traffic officers, warning of the full wrath of the law.
We are there to maintain law and order. We are not there to fight anyone. No. We are there to make sure that security, order prevails. People go around, do their businesses in an orderly manner. We are not there to fight anyone. So it's unfortunate that Smart Piri has landed himself in this situation. We will take him to court and he's going to explain for himself.
The accused has since been detained in police custody awaiting court appearance while his motor vehicle has been impounded. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Department of National Parks and Wildlife has arrested 4 suspects, 1 Angolan, 1 Namibian and 2 Zambians for attempting to poach a rhino in Livingstone's Moswatunya National Park. The 4 suspects are Benjamin Anado from Angola, Beltas Sililo Swenyeho Kambonde from Namibia, while the Zambians are Kambonde Ashuka and Samaiwa. Ministry of Tourism Public Relations Officer Sakabilo Kalembwa says the suspects were found in illegal possession of 308 W caliber rifle, 12 rounds of ammunition, and that the firearms is equipped with a telescope and silencer. He says after interrogation, the quartet reveals that came specifically for rhinos in the park. And another development, the department has nabbed 4 other suspects in Shmakobo area of Chikankata district of unlawful possession of 4 cut pieces of ivory, contrary to Section 1301A of the Zambian Wildlife Act No. 14 of 2015.
Suspects were found in illegal possession of a .308 W caliber rifle, 12 rounds of ammunition, a firearm which is equipped with a telescope and a silencer. After interrogations, the quartet revealed that they came specifically for the rhinos in the park. In another development, the department has nabbed 4 other suspects in the Shamikobo area in Chikankata district for unlawful possession of cut pieces of ivory contrary to Section 131A of the Zambia Wildlife Act No. 14 of 2015. The 4 suspects have been identified as Wise Tilika, age 40, a farmer, Kriston Mwemba, 64, also a farmer, Esther Wampula, 47, a farmer, Cecilia Mwemba, age 30, a businesswoman from the said area. Meanwhile, the department has also apprehended 6 other suspects for unlawful possession of a live pangolin. These were nabbed at Lusaka's Mandahill shopping mall, where they attempted to sell the mammal. We want to warn members of the public that the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, the ministry has mandated it to make sure that we protect our wildlife, because this is a very cardinal resource, and anyone found messing around with it.
Over 10 active political parties, only 3 have taken up the challenge to contest in the 30th June ward by-elections in Mongu Western Province and Mukushi District. In an interview with Camnet News, Patriotic Front Media Director Antonio Mwanza says the PF's decision to stay away from these elections is a strategic move and not a sign that the party is sinking. Meanwhile, Democratic Party DP President Harry Kalaba has attributed the DP's failure to run in this race to technical challenges.
Former ruling political parties in Zambia often go into oblivion after the loss of an election. The case of the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD and the United National Independence Party UNIP. The MMD during the 2021 general elections was not even among the top 5, as it polled 4,968 of the presidential polls, representing 0.10% of the total votes cast. The former ruling Patriotic Front is now under the microscope on whether it is headed in the same direction. A case in point is the 2 ward by-elections set for 30th June of 2022 in Lumbo ward of Mongu district and Shiso ward of Mukushi district. While the PF is participating in the Mukushi ward by-elections, it does not have a candidate in Mongu district. PF Media Director Mr. Antonio Mwanza, when questioned if this is a sign of the party slowly losing grip on the political scene, had this to say.
In the Central Province by-election, Our candidate is Mr. Victor Kunda, and in Mongo we have deliberately, out of strategy, decided not to field a candidate. It doesn't mean in any way that the Patriotic Front as a political party is sinking. We are very intact and will participate in these elections, and we are very, very confident that we will win the by-election in Central Province.
Meanwhile, Democratic Party DP President Mr. Harry Kalaba, whose party is also not participating in the Mongo Ward by-elections, says it was only due to technical challenges. He has also commented on the non-renewal of contracts for Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ Chairperson Justice Esau Chulu and his vice Emily Sikazwe.
And we were going to participate also in Mongo, but we had a challenge going in the planes, and by the time our team was reaching there, the time for filing in of nominations at the lapse. But those are administrative issues that we'll endeavor to work on and ensure that next time we are on course. And we hope that those who are coming to replace Judge Chulu will see and behave according to the levels that Judge Chulu has really set for our country. We don't want mediocrity to come at the electoral house here. We don't want people who are partisan to come at the electoral house here. We need to have people that will embrace Zambia.
Meanwhile, UPND National Youth Chairperson Mr. Gilbert Liswaniso has cautioned youths against engaging in violence in the two-ward by-elections.
I think that one is a clear picture which we have indicated to our provincial youth chairman, our district chairman, and also our constituency, that no violence in these areas. Let's work together, and the people living in those areas, they know each other, despite belonging to different political parties, but they live together. When there is funeral, they are together, so there's no need to go and fight. The people who have been adopted, there are people they live with in those areas, so there's nothing to go and fight. And we have demonstrated the use of UPND in the last by-election. No violence, people won an election on their own, they voted for their own candidate, he participated, no one was injured.
The two-ward by-elections have come about following the death of UPND councillor in Mongo district, Mr. Akakelwa Wakumelo, and the resignation of PF councillor in Mukushi district, Mr. Xavier Tsenga, in April of 2022. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, the opposition leadership movement President Richard Silumbe has called on government to localize most economic generating ventures in the country if Zambia is to become a first-class nation. Mr. Silumbe has hailed the stance taken by the United Party for National Development government of continuing with the Zambia Airways project that was started by the Patriotic Front administration. The Zambia Airways was relaunched in December 2021 following its defunct in 1994, and Mr. Silumbe says Zambians need to have a strong footprint in many sectors. The opposition leader has also challenged government to ensure that Zambia Postal Services Company, Zampost, and other local companies are fully recapitalized in order to boost the local economy. Mr. Silumbe explains that empowering the locals should be the main preoccupation of the government.
We are very much happy when we see the government doing things that we want to see. So there is no problem with us. Actually, we commend any government. I'm very sure that the issue of Zambia Airways started in the previous government, and this government has followed suit to implement that, and we support that. And not only should we only stop at Zambia Airways, we need to ensure that we go through all these areas where we can localize our things, such as ICTs. For instance, we have seen how Zampost is dying slowly, and the little effort that was done by ensuring that people are applying, they use the Zampost as a mailing process to get the letters, the application forms. That is a commendable job, but we want to go further into ensuring that every Zambian who is doing business or communication with government, or rather all people who are in government offices and those who intend to do business with government, as long as they are Zambians, they need to have an email that is under.
Transparency International Zambia has called for a stop on political interference over the ongoing recruitment of 30,000 teachers by the Ministry of Education. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says inquiry into the matter established that, among other things, the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC dispatched officers to all 116 districts to oversee the teacher recruitment process to ensure utmost integrity and to stamp out any inclination towards corruption. Mr. Nyambe has, however, noted that stakeholders have expressed concern that some government and ruling party officials have been presenting lists of the recommended persons who they deem to be more deserving of recruitment, thereby disrupting the exercise. He says such political interferences have the potential to undermine the entire process and to cause a loss of public trust in other government programs.
Now we have had allegations of government or ruling party officials submitting lists of their own or withdrawing lists that have been submitted to the Teaching Service Commission on the basis that the people on those lists were not deserving to be recruited. We would like to caution that political interference really does have the potential to undermine this entire recruitment exercise and to even cause a loss of public trust even in government interventions and programs going forward. So we would like to call on the UPND administration to see to it that they stamp out whatever form of impropriety may be taking place in the teacher recruitment exercise. The UPND was elected in part on the basis of the promise they made to the Zambian people that they were going to do things differently in every respect. And so we think that it would be a betrayal of the trust and aspirations of the Zambian people for the UPND to continue the anomalies that we have seen in the past in terms of such processes. So we really do challenge them and urge them to stamp this out and see to it that this process is alienated from the anomalies that we have witnessed in the past, because it is not going to be in anyone's interest for this process to be the subject of corruption and other forms of impropriety.
Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima says the ongoing teachers recruitment exercise in the country has been completed and that it was done in a transparent manner and as all district officials were engaged. The minister, who updated Parliament Thursday on the ongoing teachers recruitment exercise, says he is not privy to any directive that the recruitment process in Southern Province was not transparently done and should be stopped. He says the National Committee in updating and validating the selected names, and that once the validation process is completed, then the names will be published. Meanwhile, Petauke Member of Parliament Jay Banda was sent out of Parliament on an act of impunity of wearing the same dress code he was previously reprimanded on.
Anxiety has been on the rise among many unemployed teachers in the country who are anticipating to be among the 30,000 to be recruited in the ongoing teachers recruitment exercise, which received a total of 100,877 applications. And Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima Thursday updated Parliament on the ongoing recruitment exercise and has indicated that the process has been completed and that it was done in a transparent manner, as all district administrative officers were involved.
Written letters to the district commissioners to play an oversight role of monitoring the entire process from the beginning to the end at district level were dispatched. I'm glad to report that when the teaching service commissioners went round countrywide to monitor the recruitment exercise, all the district commissioners confirmed their participation in the recruitment exercise accordingly.
But Wacha constituency member of Parliament Sydney Mushanga raised a point of order on government's position over Southern Province Minister Cornelius Mwitwa's statement that the recruitment process in Southern Province was not transparently done and should be stopped.
Now that there is that instruction from the Minister of Southern Province to have the list that was submitted be withdrawn, what is the status quo? And don't you think it is going to delay the announcing of the names?
In his response, the minister expressed ignorance over the matter.
The other things which happen outside, I'm not privy to. I have updated you, and this is what is obtaining as of now. And I have said the National Committee is updating and validating. So this is, you should reverse on what I have said and not what you heard elsewhere. Because I'm not privy to such things from outside. Okay? So it is not true that statements have been made. I have only made 2 statements, the earlier one and the current one.
Parliament was, however, not short of drama when Wengwa Member of Parliament Kasau Tumichelo raised a point of order to question whether Pambeshi Member of Parliament Ronald Chitotela was in a position to dress in a manner in which he was.
And I'm seeing a Member of Parliament for Pambeshi, Honorable Chitotela. Is he in order to come on the floor of this House dressed as if he's going to head cattle? Is he in order? Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
I think the jacket you have put on top, I think the honorable member is in order for the coat that he has worn. But the honorable member for Petauke Central is the one that is out of order. He has worn the same clothes that he wore yesterday. And this is an act of impunity on the floor of the House. These are the same clothes that you the First Deputy Speaker yesterday sent you out with. I think it's better you go out to dress appropriately.
For now, the waiting for unemployed teachers continues as the minister has not clearly indicated on which day the names will be publicized. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more after this.
I've always been passionate about moving forward as fast as I could. Even as a child, all I ever wanted was to take first place at everything I put work towards. Whether I'm on the track or in the lecture room, my goal is to come out on top.
Growing up, we were always called Mafasho. You could say this paved the way for who we would become. We owe our success to our understanding of the power of storytelling, understanding what people connect to in order to give them what they desire.
We have always been passionate about people and honoring their stories. Our learning experience gave us the knowledge to channel our creativity into a business.
In order to start any successful journey, we must have a place to start. Even if that means we keep our mental image in focus as we become the inevitable solution to society's inevitable problems.
Which is why we all start our journey here.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the...
She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
You know, power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you're in power. So to attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to honor.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the main news. The Livingstone Chamber of Commerce has proposed the turnover tax to be increased from the current 800,000 kwacha to 1.5 million kwacha in the 2023 national budget. Speaking at the 2023 budget consultative meeting held in Livingstone Thursday, Chamber Secretary General Peter Katele says the current turnover tax threshold has arrived at when the Zambian kwacha was trading at 6 to 8 kwacha against one United States dollar. Mr. Katele says the local currency has depreciated in the past few years, which calls for the authority to act over the matter, which has been long overdue. He says he is hopeful that the submission coming from the Livingstone business communities will be taken into consideration.
Trying for an English of the dual thresholds that been stagnant at 800,000 kwacha for a long time. If you remember, this one was increased when dollar was trading at 6 to 8. And the dollar now is trading at it has gone to 3.9 something, but it's trading mostly 17 kwacha to 18 kwacha somewhere there. It's looking at the current situation, we feel that it's very difficult for us to manage our business. Hence, a lot of people not being compliant in terms of taxes. I therefore propose that the thresholds should be adjusted upwards from 800,000 to 1,500. That is the turnover tax. Remember that 800,000. We are proposing that maybe the new budget to increase to 1,500,000.
The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, has convinced and fined 100,000 kwacha to a Director for Health Support Zambia, Daniel Wodovojo, 54, for exporting medicines without an export permit via Kenneth Kaunda International Airport using Ethiopian Airways, contrary to the Medicines and Allied Substances Act No. 3 of 2013 on the laws of Zambia. ZAMRA Public Relations Officer Ludovic Mwape says when the matter came before Lusaka Magistrate Court, Daniel Wodovojo pleaded guilty to the charge and was convinced and fined 100,000 kwacha in default of payments or 9 months simple imprisonment. Mr. Mwape has reiterated that the authority is equal to the task of ensuring that safety, quality and efficiency of medical products and allied substances being exported out of the country is guaranteed, and warned that failure to adhere to set standards regarding the exportation medical products and allied substances will result into offenders being prosecuted.
I wish to confirm that a Swiss national in Lusaka has been convicted and fined 100,000 kwacha for exporting medicines without an export permit via Kenneth Kaunda International Airport using Ethiopian Airways with air tickets indicating Lusaka to Addis Ababa and from Addis Ababa to Geneva. This is in a matter where the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, in conjunction with the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, intercepted Mr. Daniel Wodovojo, a Director for Health Support Zambia, aged 54 years old, and a resident of Aravamelang, Switzerland, and took him to court in Lusaka for the said offense contrary to the Medicines and Allied Substances Act number 3 of 2013 of the laws of Zambia. When the matter came up before the Honorable Crispin Ampungeni on 6 June 2022 at Lusaka Magistrate Court, Mr. Daniel Wadvogel pleaded guilty to the charge and was convicted and fined 100,000 kwacha in default of payment, 9 months simple imprisonment. We therefore wish to issue a stern warning to all those who commit similar offences that we are eager to the task of ensuring that only medicines that are legally exported out of the country will be allowed to leave the country. This is to ensure safety, quality and efficacy of medicinal products and allied substances being exported out of this country. Failure to adhere to the set standard as regards to the exportation of medicines and allied substances will result in offenders being prosecuted.
In other news, Industrious Youth Director Nature Ntakakuya has advised youths not to regard some initiatives as dirty jobs if they are to raise out of poverty. In an interview, Mr. Ntakakuya says the nature of cooperatives in which Zambian youths have expressed interest to venture in so far reflect their selective nature of jobs, which will make most youths lose out due to stiff competition. He has called on youths to think outside the box and also think of projects such as recycling, which also offer solutions to the country's many environmental problems.
With the increased city, if we can think outside the box and try by all means to see our community develop. Let's think outside the box by creating employments for others. Let's look for problems that will help us find money. It is very important for one not to look for hard cash, but find for problems that once solved, they help us by finding money on a daily basis. My appeal also to my fellow youths out there is that we should love one another, support one another in everything we do. The businesses that we do, you see them starting small today, they can grow if only we put our hands together. Let's support one another and also think outside the box by visiting these places in our constituencies, our councillors, see what activities they have for us, what implementation can be done for us to benefit from this national cake. In those offices, they are there. Just go there and ask for exactly what you want. They will direct you. All the opportunities that one might need, you might be the one to find them. Just go there and find them. That's my appeal to other youths out there.
While you're watching Camnet TV main news, we take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
You know, power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you're in power. So to attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to honor.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you for staying with us. Now getting into our international item. Belgium's King Philippe on Wednesday expressed his deepest regrets for his nation's abuses in its former colony, the Democratic Republic of Congo. During a speech on his first official trip to the country, he said the Belgian colonial rule had been unjustifiable and racist. His speech came 2 years after he made similar comments on the 60th anniversary of Congo's independence. Meanwhile, the All Progressive Congress APC chieftain will now contend with opposition leader Atiku Abubakar as the two vie to succeed incumbent Muhammad Buhari as president of Africa's biggest economy. Here's a roundup of international news.
It is with a strong symbolic significance that Belgium's King Philippe and his wife, Queen Mathilde, are making their first official trip to the Democratic Republic of Congo. During a speech on Wednesday, King Philippe described Belgian colonial rule as unjustifiable and racist.
Le régime colonial.
Although many Belgians were sincerely committed to loving the Congo and its people deeply, the colonial regime as such was based on exploitation and domination. This regime was that of an unequal relationship, in itself unjustifiable, marked by paternalism, discrimination and racism. Belgium has faced a reckoning over its colonial past in recent years, particularly around the commemoration of Congo's 60th independence in 2020. On the occasion of my first trip to the Congo, right here, in front of the Congolese people and those who today are still suffering, I wish to reaffirm my deepest regrets for these past wounds. Some Congolese want to see the beginning of a new partnership, while others are asking for more than regrets. Perhaps real apologies and reparations for the suffering endured and the plundering of the DRC's wealth.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu beat Nigeria's vice president, 4 sitting governors and former cabinet ministers to the ticket. Critics say he's too old. But Tinubu, who co-founded the coalition that brought the All People's Congress and President Muhammadu Buhari to power 7 years ago, insists he's fit for the job.
The competition is now over. Those who did not support me, you have nothing to fear. I hold no grudges and grievances.
The decision by governors from the north to support a candidate from the south has narrowed down the choices for delegates. The governing party and its candidate will now have to unite 22 other former hopefuls and their supporters ahead of next year's general elections.
Tinubu is from southern Nigeria, a region many feel should produce the next president after Buhari, a northerner, has served out his 2 terms. There was confusion ahead of the election when some senior party officials were accused of trying to force through another nominee, prompting President Buhari to address members.
We must avoid acrimony and maintain the spirit of sportsmanship.
Tinubu's supporters believe they've got the right person.
It will possibly have all of the, reserve, skills and knowledge to be able to come forward, and help the country, in all of the major challenging areas that we have.
But political analysts say this could be the man standing between Tinubu and the presidency. Atiku Abubakar won the main opposition's primaries at the end of May. He's run for Nigeria's top office 5 times and describes his election as historic.
A history which we believe will bring about fundamental changes in governance and also in our political processes.
Abubakar's supporters say after 8 years as the opposition, the People's Democratic Party is ready to govern again.
It is a win to redirect Nigeria, to rebuild Nigeria. It is a win to rescue Nigeria.
The APC primaries were held just before the deadline for parties to register candidates for the February vote. And although other presidential hopefuls will be in the running, Nigerians will be watching the race between these 2 political giants. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Abuja.
The Portuguese language is facing yet another challenge in one of its most important bastions, Guinea-Bissau.
Some people here say they are being discriminated against as employers are publishing job adverts in French or English to the detriment of Portuguese speakers. Over the years, the popularity of French has grown in this former Portuguese colony.
I worked
in a bank for 9 years and I came across that situation. It was all in French. The bank statement is in French. I cannot be Lusophone to then interpret the statement of my bank account of my money in French.
Depois me disseram que eu tenho que interpretar o extrato bancário da minha conta, o meu dinheiro, para interpretar isto em francês.
This happens not only with banking institutions, but also with non-government organizations, which are in the country.
A maioria das ONGs vindo dos países anglófono ou francófono, tudo é em inglês.
Portuguese is Guinea-Bissau's official language, but the country is bordered by English-speaking Gambia to the north and Guinea to the southeast.
Estamos a ser pouco discriminados aqui no mercado de trabalho na Guiné-Bissau. Somos guineenses, como sabem.
We are not against the French language of French speakers, because the international language is English.
Não estamos contra a língua francesa e a língua.
On our coast, the coast of West Africa, French is spoken more. So we cannot say that we're not going to integrate into this reality because it's what's happening. The world wants this to happen this way. But what we want is not to cancel out is the history of Guinea-Bissau and this connection that we have with the Portuguese language.
Mas o que queremos é que não anulemos a história da Guiné-Bissau e esta ligação que temos com a língua portuguesa.
Spoken on 5 continents, Portuguese is the 4th most spoken language in the world, with 261 million speakers, according to data from the Camnet Institute. Guinea-Bissau is the only Portuguese-speaking enclave in West Africa, where French and English dominate. Bissau, the country's capital, also hosts a large community of immigrant workers.
We now get into sports news. Green Eagles judokas are optimistic of winning the ongoing judo local league that commenced in February 2022. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Florence Mpeta and others said the team has been adequately training towards the league. Mpeta adds that women should come on board and join the sport. Green Eagles Judo Club is currently in 2nd position in the league. Meanwhile, the club captain Victor Siamwampe says Zambians must fully embrace the sports of judo. Here's the report.
Japanese judo is a system of unarmed combat, now primarily a sport. The rules of the sport of judo are complex. The objective is to cleanly throw, to pin, or to master the opponent, the latter being done by applying pressure to the arm joints or to the neck to cause the opponent to yield. In this view, Green Eagles judokas are positive of winning the ongoing judo local leagues that commenced in February 2022. The Eagles, who are currently in 2nd position in the league, say they are putting in their level best to win. Some judokas have taught Camnet Sports on the progress made so far.
Judo has been helping me through a lot. Self-control and self-defense as well, and keep fit, and it keeps me from doing something which I'm not supposed to do when I'm outside the judo room. To encourage girl child and women to join judo because it's self-defense and you keep yourself fit, and it's also judo is a discipline sport, so I would love women and girl child to join judo because it's a very nice sport.
Self-defense, mwana ku school, amatendzira maningi futhi. No prepared maningi futhi because hapa ni matena maningi. every day. So, we relate next tournament in Zawi.
In judo, techniques are generally intended to turn an opponent's force to one's own advantage rather than to oppose it directly. That said, Green Eagles Judo Club captain says Zambians must fully embrace the sport of judo.
Easy, we are training. We are training for the coming tournament on the 18th of June, which will be at OIDC. It's a league tournament for all weight categories. The preparation so far so good. Yes.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
Police charge a motorist for attempting to murder a traffic police officer. TIZ condemns political interference in the recruitment of teachers. DP and PF justify failure to contest ward elections slated for 30th June. In international news, Belgium's King Philippe reaffirms regrets of a colonial past. And in sports, Green Eagles Judo optimistic to win the local league. Those were the headlines. Before we go, our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Acts 1 verse 8, and it reads, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come on you, and you will be my witness in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the end of the earth." Thank you for watching. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Pleasant viewing.